Hello, everyone. Welcome to Midweek Gaming. I'm Nick the Comms, of course, Justin. And what a busy week in gaming it's been. We've got the Game Award nominees coming out, and we've got something else, which is going to be the main topic of the show. Apparently, Zelda's getting a movie. This is news to me. Apparently, the Game Rant apparently originally covered this way back in March 31st. Apparently, where I guess Nintendo on their Nintendo Direct thingy app, which I have yet apparently because I haven't been paying attention to it. I missed this, but Zelda's getting a movie, and not an animated movie, which you would think would make more sense, but a actual live action. Yes, sirree, Bob. We're getting a live action Legend of Zelda film with a full-on Link and Zelda in real life kind of thing, and that's a thing. And only recently this week they've actually revealed photos of said film production, because apparently they leaked and they were just like low image kind of photos, and I guess Nintendo kind of caught a glimpse of that. Instead of getting all antsy and take it all down, they're like, you know what, actually we're just going to play into it. Here's some official photos that are much better resolution. So they just kind of played into it, which, yeah, good on them. And yeah, they were sportsmanlike about it. And not gonna lie, from what the photos are, they actually look pretty good. Honestly, they look not bad. Not gonna lie. Apparently, this is a film that is being co-made between, of course, Nintendo and Sony Pictures. Weirdly enough, which this just gets weirder the more I talk about this. It's going to get weirder throughout the show, chiefly because also the director of this film is Wes Bell. Wes Ball. There we go. I'm saying that name wrong. Who hasn't interesting filmography as a director. He is the dude who, on one hand, made the new Planet of the Apes movies, or at least one of them, I believe, which wasn't bad. The new movies weren't bad. I don't think they were bad. I saw some of them. They weren't terrible. He's a... So yeah, he's the guy behind those films. That said, on the other hand, he's also the guy behind the Maze Runner trilogy. So some of those films weren't that great. I think the later films, particularly, apparently were not that great. I saw like the first one and the second. First one was pretty decent. Second one was me. So his filmography is interesting to say the least. Not terrible, mind you, but definitely, let's call it checkered. Not in a bad way, but just kind of all over the place. That said, story on the rumor mill goes that apparently he's actually a fan of The Legend of Zelda, and according to Game Rant, who did the article way back in March, apparently he also had a desire and actually had a bit of a working prototype going for a Mouse Guard film, which if you're not familiar with Mouse Guard, don't worry, I wasn't either. I looked into it before the show. It apparently was a comic book series, or is a comic book series, which apparently looked quite well. Unfortunately, I think that was the deal he had going with Disney at the time to make that film alongside it. That fell through. I think Disney cut it was not him that cut it. It was Disney. They were like, apparently stuff didn't work out in the end. Disney just kind of dropped the project in the end. So we did not get the Mouse Guard film, but there is some stuff floating around about that, about his work. And he was enthusiastic, still does seem to be quite enthusiastic with the film. So there is that. So he certainly has the desire. Yeah, there is hope. And he certainly seems to know kind of what he's doing if he's kind of in this realm. And apparently, rumor on the mill goes that he's apparently a Legend of Zelda fan. So, hey, at least he knows the source material. But if that's not enough... Yeah, I say that to Justin, and he probably immediately flashes back to the debacle that was the Halo TV series. Oh boy, the Halo TV series. Thong or thong? Oh, song. My brain heard thong for a second. Like depressing thong. Okay. Maybe that's the audio. That would be. Nah, that makes sense. That you know what? That's fair. Having a bit of a lisp as a child it's expected for some people. It's expected. When you just mentioned your childhood there, my first thought was, oh god, where's this going? Yeah, no, that was the least, like, that whole lisp thing was, like, the least extreme thing my brain thought of when you mentioned childhood and thongs together. It's just, anyway. Let's not go that way. Let's not go that way. Let's get back to the topic, all right? So, anyways, if you're not if that isn't enough to dissuade your concerns about this, because again, Wes Bell has a bit of a, again, checkered filmography. No against to him, but like I said, highs of apes, lows of maze. That said, this film is being produced by the legend Shigeru Miyamoto himself. So, Mr. Nintendo does have a hand on the scales, and I would expect Nintendo to have a hand on these scales. I mean, they did have a hand on the scales. I'm going to use that term a lot here to reference Nintendo's influence for the Mario movie, which turned out really well, actually. It's in development for apparently a Mario Galaxy movie is in the works, too. I haven't covered that, but yeah, there you go. Which, that's got an official trailer, and looks pretty good as far as all things are concerned. And hey, the Mario movie went really well, so, again... So again, at least somebody in the room, if not Wes, knows what they're doing, if nothing else. So take heart in that, at least. But yeah, this is really interesting news, all things concerned. I want to dive into it more because, like I said, it's really interesting to start seeing more of game adaptations getting into the business. Again, just stepping aside from Wes and Nintendo and Sony being involved, which again, that's so weird. And Sony Pictures, which on one hand, it makes sense. They have a massive influence in the movie business. But it just feels weird to have Sony and Nintendo partnering up here. Then again, if memory serves, go correct me if I'm wrong, viewers. They did this also for Mario, so this isn't entirely unheard of. I wonder if this counts as helping the enemy for Sony. But again, it's just kind of interesting to see more video game adaptations get made for just stuff in general, honestly. I mean, like I said, I feel like that the Pokemon Detective Pikachu movie, maybe a movie before that. Maybe it's technically, if I really wanted to go back in the annals of crossovers, the whole, I feel like I want to say Arc Raiders here, but it's not Arc Raiders. It is the not Dota, but League of Legends TV show. Yeah, that's it.
Yes, League of Legends
Really?
was a very big starting point for it all.
Yeah, I mean, there's always been movie crossovers in the past. I mean, anyone probably remembers, if you know your crossovers, there was a a World of Warcraft movie, which was also live action done way back in the day. I think like mid 2010s or something like that, early 2010s. Didn't go very well.
No.
So movie crossovers have always been a bit of a in the industry, but it's nice to see that things like, again, the League of Legends TV show kind of opened the door for the possibility, proving to Hollywood that, hey, movie crossovers can work. You just need to know what you're doing. Which, again, I could use this to segue back to the whole Halo debacle, which is
either follow the source material, or if you're going to do your own story, don't take source material and just rewrite it into its own AU.
Yeah, especially when you've got a universe as wide, fleshed out, and just religiously followed as Halo.
Yes.
There are people who treat that stuff as gospel.
They treat it like the Bible, quite literally, because it references the Bible. If you know, you know.
Which, yeah, no. I don't know how to feel about that. But in fairness, I mean, it does make sense with the kind of the high-octane stuff that the Forerunners had going. They did have something of a god complex, in fairness. But anyways, which feels like a common trait for precursor civilizations. Again, I could reference the Orkin from Warframe here, but anyways.
Needless to say.
So, needless to say. Yeah, all in all, like I said, it's really interesting to see this stuff get made. It's just, like I said, interesting to see this, and this is slated for release for 2027. The exact date is given. Let me just reference this again real quick. Quickly searching. This is where we prove that we do not do cuts on this show, because A, this is all live, and this is us giving you quality.
Yes.
And is also a product of us being lazy. And is also maybe a product of us being lazy. So, that's fine.
This is also the very first video of me using a new computer setup. I have a new tower entirely, so...
Indeed, he does.
There's new things going on here.
But that will not be an excuse for us to increase the budget.
Actually, the budget has been increased because we have better.
We have better hardware, but we haven't increased the budget yet. We still are working on a zero something.
We're still working on a budget.
A budget. Single letters. A budget. May 7th, 2027 is when this is expected to hit theaters. So if you're looking forward to the Legend of Zelda movie, just mark your calendars for May 7th, 2027. 727. I don't know. I feel like there was a joke in there somewhere, but I just couldn't nail it. But anyways. But yeah, that's kind of where we are this week. Thought I'd bring that up to you guys. Like I said, it was either between this and the talk about the Game Awards, but I think I'll save that for closer to the Game Awards.
Yeah.
I heard Claire Obscura's got a bunch of stuff in there to the surprise of no one. Death Stranding 2 and Donkey Kong, the new Donkey Kong, which
I'm surprised Donkey Kong got on there. I mean, I'm not surprised in the sense of like it's Nintendo, but I'm surprised in the sense of like considering the other games that have been around for like a hot minute this year.
I mean, in fairness, it is Donkey Kong, and it's been a hot minute since there was the last Donkey Kong game, and as far as I'm aware, those games always hit. So
yeah, Donkey Kong, people have always enjoyed the coconut gun.
Coconut chip. But anyways. But yeah, but I'll leave that closer to the actual stuff of Game Awards. Maybe next week or the week after. We'll cover that more in detail when I have more of a list and comprehensive thoughts about all of that. Because, we'll see. But anyways, that's it for this week. Hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all just found this interesting. I certainly did. This is news to me, despite being technically around since March or May of this year. So. Follow Nintendo, I guess, is the moral of the story here, because they're doing that app of theirs. The Nintendo Today thing is where they're doing all the news for this. So, follow that is the moral of the story. Which I really should take my own advice, because I had that app to follow the Switch, and then I never looked at it again, and that's where the news is. Anyways, take your own advice, people. That's the moral of the story. The real moral of the story is take your own advice. But anyways, have a good week, everybody. Ta-ta!
Have a good day.